Hey, welcome everyone to another incredible evening of the OSP with Mark Maradei and my barbershop crew, T-Sizzle, Newbie, and Rasheen Dream, all here to talk some sports action with you. Hey, how you guys doing tonight? Everybody good?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Better
Hey,
late
okay.
than never.
Sorry I'm running a little late tonight. I do that other show with my wife, and we went and did this interview with this lady who has her own, she calls it Jen's Wild Kingdom, and she's got like snakes and guinea pigs and chinchillas.
I was thinking of something else. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, all right, I got
That
you.
was on the south side. They used to be down on the south side, I think. Jen's
Yeah, well, they used to do a lot down the south side.
wild.
See, did you go to the school there by the south side? Is that where Perry High was?
No. Perry
Where was
has
Perry?
going towards North Hills, up on top of Perrysville. It's like going towards North Hills. It's right up
Oh,
on
I
the
know where
left.
that is. Yeah, okay.
Yes. You're
Okay.
thinking south side.
Yeah, and it's not even that anymore. It's Obama.
It's an apartment.
It's an apartment now? Holy
Apartment
shit.
building. Yep.
Damn. I used to go drinking right across the street from there at what was it called?
Right
Mario's.
place.
No, Chucky's or something like that. It was some funny little name. We used to go over there and drink like 50-cent drafts. Tommy Lucchino, my buddy, God rest his soul. We went there one time for St. Patrick's Day to start off.
Mm-hmm.
All hell broke loose. We sat there for about 2 hours drinking 50-cent big boys, like 24 ounces. And we went up to I forget where we went, someplace Lenny Collini was playing, Terry. And Tommy ran out of that place. He was puking everywhere. It was one of those great St. Patrick's Day nights,
Tribute to Tommy. Okay.
Sounds like a good
We've
time.
all had those, right? Everybody's had a St. Patrick's Day like that.
Yes.
Wow.
The pub crawl. Yep.
Yep. We're Jenna's gonna turn 21. My Jenna's gonna be 21 on the 24th. So Terry's like, let's get the party bus rolling. So
Jenna's Wild Kingdom. What's it called? Jenna's Wild.
Jenna's Wild Kingdom. Hey, well, we're here to talk some sports tonight, though. I love telling my stories. I'm a storyteller. That's what got me started this shit. One day, Noobs is looking at me and we're talking sports. He's like, "You got to just do a podcast. All that shit you float out there." And here we are, over 3 years later. So
They're floating shit down the Kiski too, but that's a different story.
yeah.
Let's go.
All right, NFL free agency. There were some March 1 cuts. Anybody surprised by some of the guys that were cut loose? Anybody out there you think can help your team? Specifically, Noobs, those Chargers.
Man, the Chargers are on a budget. They can't afford any of these guys that have been released lately. So they got to restructure Bosa and then get some guys that come out later. They'll be like after that June 1st, they'll pick up some guys then.
The Tier C guys.
Yes, those guys.
The most recent
blue collar guys.
Grady Jackson.
the most recent I heard is Frank Clark. He looks to be out of KC.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Promising for people to pick up. He led was he third on the list all time in postseason sacks?
Wow, I didn't know they cut him loose.
Yeah.
Hey, Bud Dupree's getting cut loose from Tennessee. He's linked to Pittsburgh.
The band back together, baby.
No.
You don't like him, Mark?
He's injury prone. He had that one good year. He cashed in Tennessee. He's injury prone as hell. I mean, he did have a good year, but it took him 3 years to figure out how to play pro football.
Yeah, but he's not going to play every down. So you run him in and out. I mean, he's not going to be out there every down.
He might get hurt running in and out. Where the hell did he get? Like, he got into a fight where'd he get into a fight at? Giant Eagle or somewhere in Pittsburgh, like some stupid place. Somebody called him out and he got into a fight. I'm like, what the hell, dude? You're a pro athlete making millions. Shut the hell up and leave. What are you doing? That was ridiculous when he did that.
I'll tell you who I would like to see. Kendricks from Minnesota.
Oh yeah, they just cut him loose.
Yes. You know, it reminds me of a James Ferrier. Remember when Ferrier came in?
Uh-huh.
The Jets. He was up there. He was up there in age, but he gave us a good 4 years?
Yeah, at least one contract, and then he retired after his contract with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. I'm on a bubble about Miles Jack. Like I don't think that Miles Jack is the guy that we want him to be. Hey, what the hell is Max doing?
He's got home from lacrosse. Say hi.
What's up, bro?
Yeah.
Special guest.
I know he's a little bit old, but getting rid of he's I think seventh, eighth year in the league. Donovan Smith from Tampa, big left tackle.
Yeah.
And maybe, step in, have a little bit more leadership role.
Okay, so with that being said, we have to decide: are we going to draft offense and sign defense, or are we going to draft defense and sign offense, or is it going to be a mixture of everything?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know where their thoughts are.
How old is that guy?
Draft
how old is that guy from the Buccaneers? How old is he?
I think it's like 7th, 8th year.
Okay.
That's a pretty good time to pick up a guy.
I think I think Villanueva was a little bit younger than that, but
he did military time when he came into the league. He had already shown his wares. He came in as a tight end.
Right. But he was aged. He was a little seasoned with other things, right?
Yeah.
But he was up there in age. This guy's up there in age with experience.
Okay, so do you draft the tackle if you bring in a tackle?
It depends who's left. If in that first round, if one of those premier guys is left, what Pittsburgh's at 17?
17.
Yeah, if one of those, so the kid from Georgia and the kid from Ohio State, they're projected to go earlier. But if somehow they fall with all the quarterbacks and all the other crazy shit that's going to happen, if one of those guys fall, you got to get them. You got to get one of those two guys.
Okay.
Yeah. How about Jalen Carter? Do you snag him?
Yeah. He won't be around.
No.
He'll be.
You think
he's there after 4? I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Anybody else cut that you were kind of like, ooh? I keep hearing that David Long is going to get cut from Tennessee. He's a tackling machine.
I don't even know who that is, David Long.
He's their number one tackler. He's their guy.
Oh, wow. No, let me think. I don't know. Not yet.
You think that you guys
tagging Orlando Brown, the left tackle?
Yeah,
I saw that. Hey, we can move into the tag stuff. So you got, in terms of tagging, you got Darren Payne, or is it Deron Payne?
Deron Payne.
He got tagged. You got Saquon today. He got what did Jones? I didn't see what he got paid. What did Daniel Jones get paid? I didn't see that. I just saw
4 years, $160 million.
Yep.
Oh,
so $40 million a year for Daniel Jones.
That's insane.
Ugh. If he's getting $40 million a year, what's Lamar worth?
Well, that's weird because I heard that they offered him 130.
Guaranteed.
Who?
Lamar Jackson. The Ravens.
He wants a guaranteed car. Yeah, they offered him 130 guaranteed. He wants the whole damn thing guaranteed, though. That's his problem.
You offered him 130, but Carr got 150.
Is this all guaranteed?
No.
He's 4 years.
Yeah, what is Carr? Carr is he is 4 years.
150.
But it's really basically a 2 year, $60 million deal.
Okay.
Because it's tiers. So like it goes like 30 million. He basically gets 30 million each year the first 2 years. He got like a signing bonus of like 27 million or something, 27.5 million. Then whatever, 2.5 or 1.5 or whatever after that. He's basically 30 million a year for the first 2 years. Third year goes to 40 million, and then the fourth year goes to 50 million. So there's no way.
So he's not going to be around in third and fourth year, is what you're saying.
2 year deal. Yeah, it's 2 year deal. And there's no guarantee after that. So they can cut him free and they don't lose. They don't have anything on any dead money.
These guys have no proven track record. Jones or Carr. Carr hasn't won a playoff game in 9 years. they're offering him this money for what? His reputation that he can do well in the regular season, decent in the regular season.
Guess that goes to show you how few good quarterbacks there are.
Yes, I think that's the thought. We got to have somebody if we can't have nobody. I mean,
so do you draft somebody now if you're New Orleans? I mean, he's the first domino to fall. Now Jones signs, and they get to tap Saquon.
Geno
Smith signed. I saw 3 years, 130, 4 years, 130, right? Something like that. 10. He signed a cap friendly contract, but he's also going to be 33 when they kick off next year.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that old. I didn't know he jumped around. I think it's going to be the biggest money he's ever made, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he can quit after this.
Together, I think this is the most money he's ever going to make.
Yeah, he can quit after this. You know, who
another
cares?
Another big tag was Tony Pollard in
yeah, I was just looking at that. Yeah, he had, his numbers were decent too for splitting time with Zeke, and I'm sure Zeke got more reps, but he had 1,378 yards from scrimmage, and he had 193 attempts for 1,007 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's pretty good numbers.
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty good numbers. Plus, that's the writing on the wall for Zeke.
That's what
to be honest with you.
That's what I was going to ask.
He's getting tagged for 10 million. And see, that guy to me is a workhorse. I don't understand this. Give him money. How are you justifying Carr?
Well,
I know.
I mean, they wanted. What are you going to do? You're going to come back with Jameis Winston again? You're going to play Tyson Hill? I mean, they don't have anything. And then I don't think they don't draft real high, do they? Where's New Orleans slot?
New Orleans, I don't think they have one, do they?
Didn't they give up? They gave up.
Yeah,
that's right.
They don't have one.
Yeah, so there you go. What are they going to do? Hope that Anthony Richardson
wait. It's a 29. Pick acquired from the Niners through the Dolphins and Broncos.
There you go.
29.
Okay,
sorry.
so that was for the Trey Lance pick.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like I said, I think it's you want to have somebody that has played in the NFL as opposed to somebody like Duck or Mike White or Jarrett Stidham. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's been proven that you need a quarterback, a veteran, at least someone who has won a few games in the NFL. Maybe a lot, like Sil said, but he's won a few. Surround him with somebody. He might turn it around.
He might have needed to get out of the Raiders organization too.
Right.
Hey Mike, what do you pay Daron Payne? Deron Payne. What do you pay him? Yeah.
That tag, I think the tag's pretty expensive because interior D linemen are, premium. But I think it's worth
19 million is the tag.
That guy's a stud.
19 million is the tag. He was looking for upwards of 25 million a year.
You can't do it.
Is what he was looking for.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's too much.
The Raiders tagged Josh Jacobs. But there was rumors toward the end of the season they were going to let him walk. And I'm like, why? This guy's leading the league in rushing, right? He got tagged for 10 million.
1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Was this his good year? Was this his first good year to?
No.
I don't think
he had a real good rookie year too, though. He had a real good rookie year. You go back and look at his numbers. And then we were talking about this earlier today. The Jags tagged Evan Ingram, who had 73 catches on 98 targets, 766 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Is that because he's a security blanket for Trevor Lawrence? Or who else catches the ball for him right now? You got the guy, Christian Kirk, yeah.
Kirk.
Yeah. And then they get the guy from I thought they got Ridley. Did they get Ridley? Calvin Ridley?
Yeah.
They have Calvin Ridley, yes.
Yeah, he just got approved to come back into the league too.
Hey, those are Juju Smith-Schuster numbers, what you just read about Ingram. He's a role player, I think.
but Ingram is a tight end.
So,
Oh,
as a tight end,
okay.
he's probably a top 10 tight end in the league, right?
Yeah, you definitely take that from a tight end, right?
I guess with those numbers, yeah, definitely.
He's a
but
I think it's worth it.
as I was going through the combine numbers, though, I will tell you that there's some guys that there's some tight ends coming out that have some really good numbers. Now whether it translates, you got the kid coming out from Notre Dame right off the bat, Michael Meyer. He's going to be interesting to see what somebody does with him, where he gets drafted. He'll probably get drafted by Baltimore because they love loading up on tight ends.
What happened to the tight end that went to Atlanta the guy from Florida who went to Atlanta?
Oh, you're talking about Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah. He was horrible this year. Absolutely horrible. Had him on my fantasy team. He was horrible. And then
why is that, Mark?
I think because the quarterback situation was so unsettled, and they really didn't have a number one receiver, so they could lock on Pitts and take him out of the game. He wasn't much of a blocker as it was. He was more of an athletic, I can catch the ball and run with it type tight end, big body who can do that. But like their quarterback situation was just so unsettled the whole year between Mariota and then moving over to Desmond Ridder. That's never a level of comfort. I don't think Ryder's a bad quarterback. He did well in his starts down the stretch. I want to say he started the last maybe 3 or 4 games, and he had a nice run there. They're in rebuild mode right there. And there is whispers. I don't know if you guys have heard this. There's whispers of Lamar Jackson actually going to Atlanta because they have a boatload of cash to play with. So that, it's up to Baltimore how they want to handle this. Every time I read something about the situation, every time I see it, I read it. And every time I read it, guys, it's getting uglier and uglier with Baltimore more.
Well, with the non-exclusive tag, it's only 2 first-round picks. I mean, that's a heavy price, but if you feel like he's the guy to put you over the top, the Raiders haven't given up on him. Like the Raiders are considering doing that.
Well, I heard today they want him to go seek opportunities and realize the value of that other teams put on him are not going to be as equals what they've offering him, and then he'll have no other choice but back. But I don't know if that's true. Maybe he just wants a clean start. Yeah, right.
I wouldn't go back.
If they put that non-exclusive tag on it, does that force a team to have to give 2 first rounds, or can they negotiate?
Yes. No, they can. They have to give up 2 first
negotiate
rounds.
What? What would you negotiate?
Could they say? Well, I guess they could do a trade. Couldn't they still do a trade then?
That would have to be a sign and trade.
Right.
That would have to be a sign and trade. So they could say, okay, we'll make a deal with you. We'll still give you those 2 first-round picks, and we'll swap 4th rounders or some stupid shit like that, which might be at the end of the day a better thing to do instead of forfeiting just 2 first rounders. Baltimore's going to take a giant step back. The only reason they found themselves in the position they were in this year is because Lamar played the first 2/3 of the season. I mean, I'm not sold on them in the least bit. They're an aging defense. They want to get rid of Patrick Queen, I believe it was. I read they didn't tender him. They didn't tender him.
Queen's erased everything Ravens off his social media.
Yeah,
so he knows something.
Yeah, so they're in a state of mass confusion there, in my opinion. As I look at the way things are transpiring for them.
But the Wizard of Oz always has the backups coming in there.
But he's not there anymore.
He's not there. He's there, but he's not there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Who are you going to play quarterback? At least if you would let Lamar walk and he would sign with a team like the Raiders and you have 2 number 1s, you could potentially get rid of one of your number 1s or 2 number 1s because you'd have 3 of them and move way up in the draft. I know Chicago is entertaining to get, to trade out of that number 1 spot. They don't need a quarterback.
No.
What they need is an offensive line. Maybe they can trade down 6 picks and get one of those tackles.
Nice. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised with Bears trade out of that first spot, I think.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. They don't need a quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't need a quarterback.
They jumped up a couple 2 years ago to get Fields, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now they're going to go. Yeah.
Yep.
They're saying
they got
Indy might trade to get up there and get the top pick. So what? Well, I guess we got to talk about that in a little bit. The combine results, but that's going to be an interesting talk. What? I'm really confused by the Ravens whole thing, though. God darn, I don't know, man. It just seems like I guess they don't believe in him overall. If you think about it,
I don't know if they don't believe in Lamar. I think they don't believe in his health and the money attached to it. At the end of the day, what's it been? 2 of the last 3 seasons, he hasn't finished it. He didn't. I think he might have soured them too when he didn't travel with the team to go to the playoff game.
I guess, but I mean, if I'm him, I'm upset with the team for putting me in that situation, running the ball so damn much. What quarter? You're going to get injured if you run the ball that much. Like, it's guaranteed.
And he has to run because you haven't given him anyone to throw it to.
Yeah.
He has to run. He just hasn't had anyone. He's like when Marino played. He didn't have a running back his whole career. You know what I mean? Like, give this guy some receivers and somebody to give the damn ball to. Like, they got these weird running backs. Well, Dobbins is good when he's healthy, but the receivers are terrible. Like, that's a whole nother story there.
With that said, like, do you think Brady had the top tier receivers when he was in New England? I didn't think any of those guys were like
Randy Moss is the only guy he had. I didn't feel like Branch was an over the top receiver. Gronkowski, maybe one of the greatest all time tight ends.
Edelman was legit.
Yeah, I mean, they had did he have a running back? I mean, listen. So you're saying if Jackson gets weapons, that it won't help?
It'll help, but I think there's something there that within him too that's not.
It's the scheme. It's the scheme, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That team was built around his skill set.
Yeah, well, supposedly the Baltimore most complicated run game, most simplified passing game. I don't know. You just see different coaches come into systems and they open things up, and certain guys have more success in other places. There's a reason for that. Coaching is underrated in the NFL, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. I always wondered why we need it.
That's an interesting take on it. I mean, from my perspective, a lot of the systems are either really, really new with a lot of wide open offense or really, really old, and they're just running in mud. I mean, if you watch football, there are some teams you can predict weekend, like the Steelers, you can predict what's going to go on. Like Cleveland, you can kind of predict because they went back to a run game with Chubb and what's his name? I mean, I do think that at some point you've got to figure out how to make those two things work together and be more dynamic from that perspective instead of just being dynamic as a passing game or a run game like they do with Lamar in Baltimore. I mean, I wanted to share with you guys, you're talking about the tags. I have the definitions for you. So an exclusive tag means you restrict negotiating rights to the tagging team, pay out an average of the top 5 salaries at the player's position in the current year or 120% of the player's previous year's salary, whichever is greater. Now, the non-exclusive, Mike, go ahead, Rasheen.
And I think with that one, he was going to get up into 40 millions. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard. Okay.
So with the non-exclusive, they're more common. The payout and average of the top 5 amounts of the player's position from the previous 5 years applied to the current cap, or 120% of the player's previous year's salary, whichever is greater. Players who receive this tag can negotiate with other teams, but the tagging team has the right to match any offer and would also receive 2 first-round draft picks in the event the player signs elsewhere. Okay? And then finally, for people who don't understand the transition tag, it's a 1-year contract offer. They pay out an average of the top 10 salaries at that player's position. Players receive this tag can negotiate with other teams still. So if you're a transitional, you can still negotiate, but the tagging team has the right to match any offer. If the tagging team declines to match it, it would not receive any compensation. So with the tag as a transition and you sign somewhere else, you get nothing back.
Bye. Yep.
Yep. So, you've got that.
What did we offer Le'Veon Bell and Brown? Did we give them? Which one did we give Bell?
The Steelers, the first time through, gave
a whole
him
lot of money. He got a whole lot of money.
Yeah, they gave him the non-exclusive. So if he would have signed with somebody, then the Steelers would have got 2 number ones. And then the second time through, they just let his ass go. I think
why are some of the players
they transitioned him maybe
so against the tag? It's an increase in their pay, right?
I agree, because I was just talking about that with Jackson, that $40 million or $45 million. I mean, he can just ride off into the sunset with the $45 million.
You're 27. You're 26, 27 years old. You've played your first contract, which is, it's a hell of a lot of money compared to the 4 of us. But they tag you because you're one of the best players in the league at your position. You get tagged for 1 year only. You go out and you play for $40 million and you get a career-ending injury, or you get injured to the degree that you're never the same. You never get that big fat contract you want. Your second contract in the NFL, man, is the biggest contract you're going to get. After that, before that, yeah. But that second contract, if you're a player, that's where the money comes. Where the money comes. So that's the hang up. Le'Veon Bell, he wanted to rewrite the running back market. Well, guess what? It was even more of a passing game back when Bell wanted to rewrite it than it is now. Yes, it's a pure passing game, but back then Ben was throwing the shit out of the ball. Bell still got carries. He just wasn't a very smart. He wasn't advised very well. So.
Well, just in the 5 seasons, Lamar has earned $32 million. So
that's not a whole hell of a lot of money for a professional football player.
That's asinine.
Combined total?
Yeah.
That's it.
In 2019, he made.
And that's what I'm saying. Derek Carr is going to get $40 million a year, or whatever Noob read out to us.
Yeah, but he's.
I'm sorry. 2018.
Go ahead, Rasheed.
2018, he made $5 million. 19, $1 million. 20, $1 million. 21, $1 million, and 22, $23 million.
There you go. But did he play on a tag last year that he made 23? Because that's his first contract.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's his 5th year.
So he got signed for his 5th year. They picked up his
because
5th year option.
First round pick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was their first round.
First round pick, they can get you for 5 years. They can lock you in for 5.
Yeah, you get the option to pick that 5th year up. I know the Pittsburgh is letting Devin Bush walk on a 5th year. That's what I was saying. Whatchamacallit's letting oh shit. Who the hell is it?
Who?
I forget who it is. It's somebody that I was like, wow, you're gonna let him walk?
So if he would go sign with another team, Ravens get 2 number ones. Who determines what year, what draft that those picks come?
That's the next year.
I think it's the next 2 years.
Yeah.
This year and next year.
Okay.
Yeah, this year and next year.
Man.
So that's you're right, Mike. That is mortgaging a future for a team. But if it's a team who's close and needs a quarterback that can push you over the top, is it worth it?
Raiders, no.
Let's face it. You don't want to pick up an unwanted commodity as a quarterback in the first round for a team that's close. Right? Like, let's say you have a stud defense, you've got a running back, a few receivers, you need a quarterback to plug in there to make you run, make your engine run.
So what team is that?
I don't know.
Stud defense, running back.
Jets?
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
good
the
example.
Jets. Yeah.
Miami. 'Cause two was he's
Mm.
like an ear flick away from another concussion, and I don't know, they're talking about maybe him moving him.
Well, let's get into the combine then. Let's talk it.
All right, let's do it. So I'm looking at numbers. I got grades. Top graded guy in the combine. I was showing Noob this today. Jalen Carter. He had a 7.11 grade. Number 2 was that kid out of Alabama, the edge rusher, 7.02. And number 3 was another Alabama kid. So 3 SEC kids, 3 top dogs. Bryce Young at 6.82. I will tell you this much. I am concerned about Bryce Young going to the next level. I really am. I think his size makes a difference. I also think that Alabama has a pro team playing at the college level. He does such a great job of recruiting.
Yeah.
He really does. Yeah.
I agree with that one.
Hey, I know Watson was hyping this guy up. I don't know if Mike saw this when I was sharing this with him, but Bijan Robinson, guys, 6.80. He was the number 4 guy at the combine. That was his grade. Then this one was kind of interesting. Number 5 to round out the top 5 is Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. He had a 6.77.
He's been climbing.
So
yeah,
I watched film of that guy. I just didn't see it on the film.
So at the bottom line there, Mike, is that's the dictation. I mean, remember Cookie Jarvis from the Steelers? He had a great combine. He had a Studley combine, I believe. The Steelers drafted him, and he was not a on-the-field player.
Yeah.
The
Texas Tech guy gets stuck on blocks. I don't see him getting off blocks. His highlights aren't even really – they're okay. I mean, they're not bad. But
he's a Big 12 player.
I just don't see it, man. I don't see him – I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be a guy at the next level. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but –
They weren't speaking too highly of Pickens coming in either. Same concepts. Weak off the ball, gets detracted from his routes. A lot of those same similarities, and he balled this year.
Yeah,
I was just a fan of Pickens, though. I love Pickens. Yeah. I was hoping that San Diego would get him.
Yeah, he's gritty. He's gritty. No, there's no doubt about it.
Right.
Number 6 guy was Drew Sanders, at linebacker from Arkansas. And 7 was Skoronski at 6.73. Skoronski, 6.73. Now, they're talking about, he's listed as an offensive tackle, but they're saying he's got Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, so he's probably going to bump down to guard.
Yep.
His footwork is fantastic, though. He's an athlete and a half.
I read an article about him, Mark, that said that there's only been 5 guys that have started like 2 full seasons or something with arms as short as his, or shorter.
No shit.
Yeah, his arms are like, it's really alarming for them to see a guy with arms that short at tackle.
And he's got a big body too. So that's going to be interesting. Hopefully the Steelers aren't he won't be around when the Steelers pick to begin with. Brian,
I think that's one of the biggest things they look at right now is that arm length for offensive linemen, for tackles especially. When I took Gotti around, like we went to different schools, that was like one of the first things they did. They wanted to measure his arm length. And then they were like, oh, he made it. Good. He's good. Like it was like the golden touch. Like if you had that, you're golden. But if you're short, it was good seeing you. Talk to you later.
Interesting.
Crazy. I think it's a big, big deal.
For the next pick for the next guy was Brian Branch, the corner from Alabama. He was the first corner. He was the top athletic corner out there. He was a 6'7" and then Gonzalez was right behind him at a 6'7". What do you guys think about Gonzalez?
I love that kid. His length is amazing. The kid can run.
He's playing in the passing league.
Yeah, Pac-10. Yeah.
He's physical in his highlights too. He comes up and hits you.
Now let me ask you a question. So, who's the top receivers over there, and how do you do against them? Because I know that's something we're going to get into. How do we judge talent? For me, judging talent is playing the best and beating the best. You know what I mean? Like that when you dominate at Vanderbilt or freaking Duke. You know what I mean? Like playing the best and dominating the best is that's how I always see it.
Yeah, so, did he take Addison off the field?
We have to look at the USC film.
Yep. Did he take Addison off the field? The next guy's a tight end, Luke Musgrave. Then Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee. I thought that was pretty interesting. He was the number one receiver. He was the first receiver. He graded out at a 6.5. There's a big difference between that top tight end, 6.7, and that top receiver. The receivers didn't play out real well because then you go edge rusher from Clemson, Murphy, Meyer from Notre Dame, and then Stroud. Stroud was a 6.46. That's what he graded. And that was interesting. I did listen to some guys talk about him. I guess it was about 3/4 of the way through the season, and they felt that he was still unsure of himself, and he probably should return to Ohio State. So, yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this kid. Maybe you guys have. Dalton Kincaid. He's the third tight end on the board.
Yeah, he's actually Pro Football Focus. I think they have him ranked number 1 as their number 1 tight end.
Yeah? Who they comparing him to?
He's not. He doesn't have a lot of size, so he's not as much of a blocking tight end. They think he's more kind of like a non-blocking Kelsey kind of. He caught a shit ton of passes.
Okay, Kelsey, Kittle, that type of guy.
Yeah. He supposedly he's caught a ton of passes.
So here's your guy from Georgia. What is he? He's about 13th on this. 6'4". He graded 6.44. Broderick Jones. So that's not bad. And then Joey Porter Jr. at 6.43. He graded at. Man, I don't know about Porter Jr. I mean, I'm so uncertain as a Steeler fan, a Steeler backer. I don't know. Like, I'm so unsure of him.
Well,
4.45.
Let's go to the Ohio State receivers. Let's see what they did.
You know what? That's interesting you say that because okay, so I told you Porter was 6.43 was his grade. And that kid, what the hell's his name? Let me see. Well, Addison was a 6.36 because he ran a 4.55.
Yeah. He ran a 4.49 the second time.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He didn't test well. They said his stock went down. Like, he was they had winners and losers, and they said his stock definitely went down. He didn't come across. His vertical was really low. He's not real powerful. I think they measured him at maybe 5'11 also. 5'11".
Okay, I'm looking. Oh, here he is, Jackson Smith Najigma. He had a 6.29. He's a fourth pager. He's halfway down the fourth page. Right after him is Keishon Boutte.
Oh, he tested awful. They said he's stocked.
Yeah.
Both of those guys tested at a 6.29 grade.
But he didn't run. The kid from Ohio State didn't run.
Oh, he didn't?
He didn't run the 40.
Okay.
Excellent.
So that's a good thing. I like this one here, man. Anton Harrison, the big tackle from Oklahoma, big ass body.
Yeah,
he tested a 6.27, but he's way down. Like he's in the late 30s, early 40s in terms of where he is. I've seen him mocked to the Steelers and some other teams. One of the receivers, well, here's another one. Brisset kid. How do you say his last name, Mike?
Brian?
Brizee.
Yeah.
He tested at 6.35. But, with that boy, injuries. You got to be thinking about injuries with him. He's had banged up knees ever since he's gone to college. He had no injuries in high school, right?
So
I don't ever remember that kid being hurt.
Well,
it's going against a
giant playing with little kids.
I mean, just beat him. That's about the only injury he had. His ego.
Right. No. A couple other ones. Kalijah Cansey, he was a 6.37. They're talking about him being a top 10 pick now, though, because his intangibles were so good between the Senior Bowl and his performance here. He ran 1/10 of a second faster than Aaron Donald. That guy that Watson talked about a lot, Lucas Van Ness, He tested at a 6.38, but they haven't listed his edge.
Edge outside linebacker, or is that
Yeah.
DN?
DN outside.
They said he could play either. He could play a 4-3 edge guy, or he could play walk up like for a 3-4 team. I like that kid a lot. I think he's going to be pretty damn good. He reminds me like he's very relentless.
He reminds me of a Bosa.
That's what I was going to say. He reminds me of the Bosa a little bit.
Yeah. Not just because he's a white dude, but because of his motor.
Bosa, yeah, but Joey Bosa, man, I don't know if I'm a fan right now with all the dumb shit he did in that last game.
I heard something today about how pissed off that the Chargers are with him. And don't be surprised if they kind of dangle him on draft day. They were pretty pissed off at him for being an idiot like that.
I love it. Get rid of him and get this kid. I'll take it.
Hey, this kid here, Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State. He's moving up draft boards at the corner.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be a day 1 pick, but he's going to be a day 2 pick, second or third round. He's going to be a steal of this draft. He graded out at a 6.36.
How about the kid from Maryland? The 2 corners from Maryland both running 4.3s.
Yeah, that was insane, man. That was awesome. Absolutely insane.
Jacorian Bennett, 4.30. What was he? He was top 5 overall, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was second as a corner, and then Banks was third, 4.35.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Let me see. Right, and they had 3 receivers there too. Maryland had 3 receivers there.
And they all tested in the top 50 too. I believe it was. I believe I saw.
There you go, Rasheen. They're so fast because they were used to chasing after the wide receivers, booking down the sideline.
You know who else had a couple of good corners? This guy was the number 1 corner, was Michigan. DJ Turner the second. He tested at 6.41. He was the fastest corner in the draft. In the combine, I mean. And then
can we talk about who stole the show though? Who stole the show? Who do you guys think stole the show? Quarterback, come on.
Richardson?
Richardson.
Back in Florida.
Dude, his numbers were insane.
Yeah, but they're
so much fun to watch him.
Vince Young.
Listen to what you said, Noob. It was fun watching him at the combine. Like, is he going to be a good quarterback? Is the question. Is he going to be Malik Willis, part 2?
He's huge, though. He's 6'4", 240.
Vince Williams.
So I just don't care how big he is. I don't care about that part of it. I don't care how fast he runs. I want to know, is he going to be able to read the defense and the defense side? I don't need a Malik Willis.
The problem is he only started, 10 games?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they weren't that great. All of them weren't that great.
Yeah. And so it's going to take him time. You got to understand he's going to be a project. So hopefully the team that gets him doesn't expect too much immediately and gives him time the way quarterbacks used to be given time to learn and grow.
Mike, I could see a kid like that going in New Orleans.
Indianapolis. Number 4, they're saying.
The quarterback. The former OC, right? From Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't play him right away.
Sense.
You gotta find a stopgap then until he's ready. You gotta realize that.
You said quarterbacks used to have that time to develop. Are you saying that all quarterbacks should do that coming out of the rookie year?
No, obviously it depends on the quarterback.
Okay. I was gonna say Herbert just came out guns a-blazing. I think he hasn't stopped. He's awesome.
But he is a special
athlete.
Like that kid's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's a lot certain personalities,
I think he's better than Josh Allen.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I think he's better. I think he's smarter than Josh Allen.
Do you know Josh Allen's story that he didn't even get into college and he wrote like 1,000 letters?
He went to Division II school.
A
JUCO. He went to a JUCO.
He ended up at Wyoming, but he didn't get in. He wrote 1,000 letters and only Wyoming responded.
That was the only school that offered.
Gave him an opportunity. Yep. That's me.
Hey, Mike, you remember last year we talked to the guy from BC and he sang the praises of Zay Flowers?
Yeah.
He had a pretty good combine. He actually tested really well. He had a 6.35 grade.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Have you watched him? That kid is.
Yeah. Yep.
He's super quick. I love that kid. He's fun to watch.
On the opposite side of Paris Johnson Jr. is DeJuan Jones. And I don't know if any of you paid attention to this kid. He's got some hype coming into this. He had a good Senior Bowl, and he tested at a 6.32. That's a guy I would like to see the Pittsburgh Steelers grab. That guy right there.
Mark, he's a little slow. He's like 6'9", isn't he?
Yeah, he's gigantic. He's gigantic.
Like 360 or something like that. He's crazy, but he moves like he's 6'9", 360. Like he's like, ooh.
But you know who's an unfortunate guy? Andrew Voorhees tearing his ACL. He was going to be a good day 2 guy at guard from USC. He's a road grader, man. He gets after it.
Is that the dude who did 38 freaking
38 after he tore his freaking ACL?
Wow. So he did it with
one leg.
How did he tear his ACL?
Doing drills, doing some sort of drill or something. You know, tore his ACL. Then he had to go do the bench. 38 reps with a torn ACL.
One leg down on the ground.
Did you guys watch Darnell Washington from Georgia, the tight end?
No.
6'6" and 3/4.
He's a big man.
264 pounds. Ran a 4.64. He had 34-inch arms. He has almost the longest arm. He had longest wingspan. The most ridiculous numbers. He ran a little fade route that they threw him. He reached all the way around over and grabbed it with one hand, just reached up and snatched it out of the air. It was ridiculous. He's a freak. And then they showed him pushing the sled. Yeah. All the other guys, your guy from Notre Dame, he was like,
Mayor.
And he moved it about 3 feet. This kid moved it 3 feet every time he pushed it. It was like, oof, 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 oof. Moved it like 5 yards in like 3 or 4 steps. It was crazy.
That's that. Oof, man. That's
middle of the pack guy who was really getting a lot of praise was Nolan Smith from Georgia. He tested at a 6.24 grade. And here's a later round pick, you guys.
How fast? Reed Smith's 40 time. That was ridiculous.
4.39.
Yeah.
4.39. That's come on for an outside linebacker or DN.
That's insane. Yeah. That's ridiculous when you think about it. This guy here, I can see the Steelers taking later because they really like him. Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. They've been high on him since seniors are starting to rear their heads for the draft. And this is another guy right here, Jack Campbell, that linebacker. He's a tackling machine out of Iowa. He did not test well. He tested at a 6.18 grade, but he to me, you guys, is one of those guys that this testing is just bullshit for somebody like him. The bottom line is he's a football player. Some guys test horribly, but they're football players.
I thought he ran really well. He didn't run well?
He did run well.
He ran well, but a lot of his other intangibles were not that good.
So the vertical and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's a football player, Mike.
We don't got a vertical nobody on the field.
He's a football player. So as much as I like looking at what they did at the Combine, talking about it, seeing how they rank out, at the end of the day, if we pull this out next year and look and see who went where and what they did, you're going to find out who the football players were and who were just, athletic guys out there doing what they did. So it's kind of fun to do that. Take a look at that. Again, I was surprised that the receivers were so far off. Like receivers didn't start ranking until around 15, 16. And you had a lot of offensive tackles, defensive players early on. So
I think last year's draft class was there were some really special receivers. I don't think this receiver class compares to last year's nearly as well. Where's
Addison end up going?
Man, I think he really hurt himself running this. It was bad. Unless he
he's slight of frame. He ain't that fast, obviously. That's hard.
It measured him at 5'11".
That's what they measured him at?
Yeah.
5'11", 170.
That's what Smith is at Philly, right?
Yeah, but
Devontae
he was advertised as a bigger guy. You can
he
tell
ain't
he's
Devontae
not.
Smith. He definitely ain't Devontae Smith.
No, Devontae Smith won a Heisman. He was a special talent. He was a special talent. And he had Mac Jones throwing him the ball.
And they keep saying, oh, let's bring him back with Pickett like they did, like Burrow did with Chase. He ain't Chase either. So where does he go? I don't know. I think he drops to.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, see, I could see Pittsburgh picking him up in the 3rd round.
Why?
I could see that. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I moved first of all, personally, I'm moving Deontay Johnson.
They should look for Bryce Ford Wheaton.
The kid from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had pretty good combine numbers too.
Yeah. Compared to DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
6'3" and 3/4, 221 pounds, 41-inch vertical, and ran a 4.38.
The Steelers actually need somebody in the slot, though. That's what they need.
Oh, we got Austin.
We haven't seen him perform yet.
That kid's gonna be special.
They are
Calvin Austin.
They're saying he is already, bro.
Yeah,
he's legit. Man, that kid.
If we didn't have one, then I would say maybe we go ahead and get an Addison or somebody, but we don't need. My daughter just said that today. She said, "Oh, we're gonna get Addison." I said, "No, he's too small and he's slow. We don't need that."
Who were the winners then? Who were your top 3 winners?
Richardson,
yep.
Smith, and Smith, the receiver from Ohio State. Smith, and Richardson.
Interesting.
I'll take same list. I'll go definitely Richardson. I think Darnell Washington wasn't really on a lot of boards because he was their 2nd best tight end at Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he tested out as the best tight end there, in my opinion. I think Darnell Washington went way up. And I'll say the corner from Maryland. What was it? The fastest Bennett's stock is going to go up because Banks was ready to head him. I don't know. What do you think, T Sizzle?
I just watched the fatties run the race. I thought that was hilarious. But they catch my ass in a heartbeat. Those guys running under 5.
That's
those
crazy.
Big guys, 6'5", 3 fit. I'm like, whoo! Yeah. I'm glad I ain't playing. But that was enjoyable to watch. I didn't watch a whole lot, to be honest, but I watched that, and man, they move. They move. Some, like you started saying, some of these skills and drills, I don't know if they're like, what are we doing? They got to revamp it or something.
Exactly. Like, hey, when you get down there and he goes low, vertical him, and then land, and then keep running and chasing. Like, no one does that. It's the dumbest thing. Like,
yeah. And how long now have they gotten rid of the Wonderlic? I mean, what are they going to do? Is every couple of years? You got to like just revamp it. And that's getting into your next segment.
Bijan Robinson, one of my winners. You know, I thought he really proved out exactly what Watson said he was on the field. He proved out at the combine. Drew Sanders, the linebacker from Arkansas, another winner. He ran well. And I like the receiver from Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt. He tested out really well, and he had a great season for Tennessee to put them back on the map.
So
yeah, that was my.
I liked Hyatt a lot, but when you watch the way he handled the drills, the pass catching drills, like, you know, when they go down the gauntlet, he didn't really handle that well. It was kind of weird. Like it was like he had a hard time adjusting a little bit, and he was getting off the line. You watch Rakeem Jarrett do that, the kid from Maryland, Rack. You watch him go down the line. It was just boop, boop, boop. It was just like it was so easy. It just didn't seem the same for Hyatt. Like, he just looked a little awkward to me. And running routes, he adjusted weird to the ball a couple times. Now he's fast, but I was surprised he didn't run faster also.
I like the other kid. I like the other kid from Tennessee. What the hell is his name? Shit. I was just reading.
Receiver?
Yeah, his last name starts with a T too.
I don't know. If you watch the Alabama,
Jalen Hyatt?
No, that was the guy we were just talking about.
Sorry.
If you watch Hyatt against Tennessee, you're like, against Alabama, you're like, man, this kid should be the number 1 receiver drafted.
Yes.
Cedric Tillman.
Tillman. That's the kid I like. Yeah,
He's
he's a later round sleeper. I think he's a guy who's going to pop on the chart for somebody. He's a guy that another guy that I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers took a flyer on him and drafted him.
They had a good year this year with their eighth. Was it the quarterback? It was just like his 6th year.
Herndon Hooker.
They had a good year.
Yeah, well, he also blew his knee out at the end of the year.
There's a kid from Princeton that looked really good at receiver too.
Smart guy.
He's like 6'3". He actually looked really good catching the ball.
Hey, let's
Andre Iosivas.
There you go. That's the guy.
Let's get to the end of this. Let's talk about Troy Vincent's comments about the combine, guys. He basically said in the New York Post that it was a slave auction. Your feelings about that?
Oh man, I mean, it has the makings of it, but you don't have to show up. It's always my thing, man. If you're gonna give me that kind of money, I'm gonna show up with my drawers on. That's how that works. You can say no, I don't want to come. That's the easy part.
Yeah, I don't get the correlation. I don't like. To me, I don't understand the correlation. It's like a resume. It's a live resume. Somebody doing something in the form of a live resume is what they're doing, and then they get hired after they do that resume.
What I was reading about it, I don't agree with his comment, but I agree with the standard needs to be improved. The expectations needs to be improved. They need to be more equitable and non-biased. And what I was reading were a lot of comments that the Players Association asked these people who are in the combine, how did it go? And they openly and candidly tell them what some of the interview questions are, and they're very derogatory and negative and racist, to be honest. You know, do you have a rap contract? Is your mom a prostitute? Like stuff like that they wouldn't normally ask just random people, and they're targeting certain players, and it's not respectful. And I think that's where he's coming from. I don't agree with him saying it's like a slave auction, but the whole system needs to be improved.
So him saying that got everybody's attention, at least, and that's probably what he's intending to do.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now.
What?
And I actually agree. If questions like that are asked, that's a bunch of crap. Like, that really, really pisses you off and rubs you the wrong way. I could see the disrespect. I feel like when you look at the NFL, you see these arrogant owners that have all this money, and then you see all the people that are working for them, and you kind of, I understand why he would compare it to that in a way. But you're getting paid significant amount of money ultimately. Yeah. Just like Rasheen said, I would have done it. I would have done anything they asked me to do.
Exactly.
And not just that, the glory of playing in the NFL and all that is something that we all strive for as kids. Like, we're like, dream of that. You know, that's everyone's dream.
If you feel insulted, get up, walk out, and go on home. Listen. Yep. Also walk on in and take that money. Trust me.
Here's the thing: the NFL has in their end zone, every end zone, end racism, fight racism, stop racism. But behind the scenes, they're not doing it. And so I get what you guys are saying, but I don't agree with the fact that they're going to keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
Well, that's
insanity.
Well, that's like saying, hey, let's fight drugs. Like, we've been saying that, and there's no fight. So stop.
And gun violence.
Yes, stop.
A fucking bad guy's going to get a gun if he wants a gun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you take him out of the hands of the people that do what they need to do. If a bad guy wants a gun, it's like when MCPS makes you hear all this shit about how we're supposed to improve kids' grades, but they don't give you a plan. They want you to create a plan. We've been doing this for 20, 30 years. Give me a plan. Tell me how I get a kid to school. Okay? Give me a plan. Put a plan in my hand.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's a little different.
I think if you if you want them to ask the right questions, you compose the questions and you have an NFL representative sit down with each and every team as they're interviewing these guys. That way they stay on point.
And I kind of get the point of why they ask some of these questions too, is to see how they're going to react, right? But there's a better way to ask those questions that are going to trigger people.
I don't say you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't say you're wrong.
I don't think you're wrong.
Know.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, like Rasheen said, you can pay me millions and millions of dollars and ask me any dumbass question you want.
I didn't realize only like 320 people got invited to this.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's another thing there in of itself to.
And what they say, like 2/3 of those guys get drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Hey, we've got to talk about the quarterbacks from Shepherd.
Oh yeah, how'd that kid do? I didn't even.
Wait. He was there?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He fit in well. I thought he did really well. He handled the speaking portion amazing. I'm actually riding home and I'm listening to NFL Network on my radio, and he did an interview. He did an awesome job, man. He knocked it out of the park. His dad is an arm wrestling champion, like 30-time arm wrestling champion.
Where Cagini's in Poolsville?
He's won with both arms. No, national champion. The guy's
over the top. Did he go over the top?
Yeah, over the top.
Him and Rocky, right? Sylvester Stallone, baby.
Hey, but how big?
Left and right-handed.
How was his how tall is he? Is he big? Is he a 6'2"?
Is he 6'3", maybe?
Okay.
He fit in. I'll just say he fit in. He looked like the second tier quarterbacks looked. Like he didn't have, like the kid from Kentucky, his arm, you could just see it come out, it looked different. Right. Richardson, it came out, it looked different. It was effortless and the ball just goes. He looked like the other quarterbacks. I'll just say that.
You know who fell apart there too? Was Max Dugan, the kid from TCU.
Yeah.
I read he had a shitty performance.
Yeah, he didn't throw well.
Yeah. And then the kid from UCLA had the hardest throw, over 60 miles an hour.
Ooh,
60.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Did he hit anything though? That's the key too. Did he hit anything?
That's the other thing. That's a great test. Just a bit outside. Right. He can throw 60 miles an hour, but it's it's the Gatorade cooler.
Hit the trainer standing on the side with the water.
That's what sets off the water boy, doesn't it? Oh man. Hey, great show, you guys. I appreciate you giving up your time. That was fun talking about the combine. It was good hatching out and actually seeing a point of view of what Troy Vincent was trying to do. And I'm excited for free agency to really gear up. It's not that far away, right? The 13th?
13th, yes.
Yeah, the 13th. So when we come back and do our next show, there'll be a lot of movement in the NFL. So that'll be a lot of our focus. And maybe we could sneak a little bit of baseball in there somehow, some way. You should start seeing the starters and some roster cuts. So we might want to dip into that a little bit. And you never know, you might be able to talk a little bit of hockey if we're lucky. I know Watson can't talk hockey, but everybody else here sure as hell can. So
don't worry. Don't worry. I know the Pirates only won 3 spring training games so far, but they're in second to last place, so they're okay. They're right where they want to be.
They're projected to win more than the Nationals.
That's not good.
Is that saying much? They finished last and next to last year. So
I'm going to make a prediction when we have our next show about what the Pirates do, because I feel pretty good about them. I'll make my prediction then.
Right.
They're not showing their cards yet. That's right.
Yeah.
They're not tipping their hat.
Hey, are you having Tuesday night cocktails?
I wish.
Hey, thanks for everybody joining the OSP with Mark Maradei and the barbershop crew. Rasheen, tell everybody where they can find you at.
1763 Wayfield Drive. No, I'm on Facebook. What am I? Rasheen Hill, Facebook.
There you go. T Sizzle.
One young Terry, Instagram and Twitter.
Okay. And Big Noobs.
At Coach NEUB on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and you can find the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei on every freaking platform. I'm out there on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I even do a little TikTok action. So, hey, thanks for joining us again for another great show. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Peace.